Hello, this is a detailed tutorial on how to cut a vintage shirt with the camp collar. So I'll be taking you down through the process of how I make mine. So first of all, we measure 4.5 for the overlap, that is on the button part, 4.5. Then we take it all the way down, and then our full length depends on what yours is. Mine is 29 inches and we add 1 inch allowance, which gives us 30 inches. So you can follow me for more tutorials. I'll be dropping a lot of tips on how to make different outfits. So then from that 4.5, we measure our chest. So mine is 12 inches. So I will just draw it all the way down. Mind you, it is from that 4.5 line, not from the edge, which we started from. From that 4.5, then we cut it out. So for the back piece, it's still going to be 12 because that's what we measure at the front piece. So but mine here is 13, but I'm just going to leave it and I'll cut it out later. So for now, the full length, our front was 30 inches plus the 1 inch allowance, 30 inches. So because of the overlapping at the shoulder, we are going to be measuring 34 inches on the back piece. Then we cut it out. So after cutting the front and back, we then place it together. So we are starting from that 4.5 inch line, which we drew out. We are starting from that line to place it on the back. It will be outside, yes. But first of all, we need to draw it up so we can get our the slant part of our shoulder. And we are going down by 4 inches. Then we rule a straight line down to that 4.5 inch line that we drew earlier. Then we cut it out. Then we drag the front piece down to meet the back piece, and then we fold the back piece to the front with just half an inch. There was no light at this point, so I couldn't iron it, but you can iron yours or you pin it down. So after that, we need to get our shoulder measurement, and mine I used 9.5. Then for the armhole length, you can still use 9.5 depending how big the person is, but here I used 9 inches. And then you get the midpoint of your shoulder length and go in by half an inch so that we will not have any bulge at our armpit part. So we cut it out and then cut the front piece separate from the back piece. Then we measure our neck. So we are going down by 3 inches and our neck width is 2.5. But first of all, I needed to, I'm going to cut it. Then I need to fold it. Now before you fold, from that 4.5 line, you measure 1 inch for the overlap of your button. Then you fold from that point. I hope you understand how I did that. You can rewatch it so that you won't make any mistake. So then we cover it with the front and back piece. Then we measure again 2.5 and then 3 inches, and then we curve out our neck. Then you cut only the front piece. Be careful not to cut the back piece with it. Then you just trim the neck so you can have a very good curve. So here I told you earlier that mine was 13, but I need to cut it down to the front, which is 12 inches. And then you just trim off what needs to be trimmed. So voila, we've cut the front piece and the back piece. So I was just trimming off the neck to get a good curve. So this is the remaining piece, and from this piece we are going to be cutting our sleeve. So mind you, I only used 1.5 yards to sew this, and here I already have my pattern for the sleeve, but I wanted it to be longer, so I would just cut the top first, then drag it down so that I can get a little bit length for the sleeve here. So mind you, I only used 1.5 yards to sew this vintage shirt, or that's what I use to sew vintage shirt, especially when it is a short sleeve. But for a long sleeve, I use 2 yards. And if you just want to start a vintage business, please don't start with fabrics that has placing, like you need to place it before you cut, because most times those, it can make you frustrated. Yes, so just start with vintage shirt patterns that doesn't need placing to cut. So here I was just measuring my neckline. You don't cut your neck, your collar yet until you've joined your front and back piece together. So I want to cut my flap here, and your flap needs to be about 8 inches long, not more than that. It can be from 6 inches to 8 inches. So I was just cutting it here. It's very simple and easy to cut. You can start a vintage business today and make money from it. I'll be making also another video of how I joined it together. So do well to follow me for my next video, and see you in my next one. Bye.